there is a saying that not just aesthetics, but also health, the people who get the worst healthcare are not just the poorest, but the richest. And this is one of the reasons I actually love Brian Johnson, because he's a scout. He's like, I'm going to do all this crap to myself. If it goes wrong, you'll know. And if it goes right, you'll know, because a lot of it is controversial. Like, as I'm playing around with these different peptides, and, you and I were talking about stem cells before, it is...
I'm playing ball, sister.
I mean, it's pretty incredible.
I'm playing ball. It's absolutely
but
amazing.
Things go
a month
wrong.
and a half later.
And I could tell you 3 guys that injected them into their spine and almost died. And they're affluent, intelligent leaders in the health space. So when you have that much access to newer therapies, at least in this country, and people are leaving the country, it can go wrong. So I would say find that Goldilocks zone where you feel good, but you're not going so far that you're compromising your health in one way or another, or you're disfiguring your body.
Make of the psychological condition related to all of that we are always chasing the fountain of youth, and that we'll never really attain what we've once lost, and that even someone like Brad Pitt, he does look great, and he's, I don't know, can you guys check how old he is? He's got to be about 60, I would guess, at this point.
I think
and he's
61.
And if you look at pictures of him
older?
from 5 years ago, he looks significantly better now. He's 61.
61.
But always chasing that thing. Or what's her name? Jenner, the mother, who just had
my gosh,
yeah.
Steve Levine did that job.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I was like, who is that guy? Because in 10 years, he better be alive. I'm like, make me an appointment.
But isn't it interesting? Because as long as you feel good, it shouldn't matter that much whether you've got the wrinkles or a couple extra creases. And yet all of us
disagree with you. However, with everything, I always say it's a U-shaped curve. So it's like, you could do something, you could work on it, you could maintain. Then there's that Goldilocks zone of just the right amount of tweaking and supplementing where you're really holding your own, you're aging well, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at health span, not just lifespan. How long can you feel good for? Like the reality of living to 200 for you and I is not there. But living to 90 and picking up your grandkids at 85, I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. And when
I damn well better be able to get there, because I started late with kids, so I really feel the pressure on that, which is partly why I made my health a priority in the last 2 years.
When it starts to go wrong, you can see it, when people deform their faces. And there is a saying that not just aesthetics, but also health, the people who get the worst healthcare are not just the poorest, but the richest. And this is one of the reasons I actually love Brian Johnson, because he's a scout. He's like, I'm going to do all this crap to myself. If it goes wrong, you'll know. And if it goes right, you'll know, because a lot of it is controversial. Like, as I'm playing around with these different peptides, and, you and I were talking about stem cells before, it is...
I'm playing ball, sister.
I mean, it's pretty incredible.
I'm playing ball. It's absolutely
but things
amazing.
go
a month
wrong.
and a half later.
And I could tell you 3 guys that injected them into their spine and almost died. And they're affluent, intelligent leaders in the health space. So when you have that much access to newer therapies, at least in this country, and people are leaving the country, it can go wrong. So I would say find that Goldilocks zone where you feel good, but you're not going so far that you're compromising your health in one way or another, or you're disfiguring your body.
How do you decide who to listen to when it comes to all this stuff? Because you're on the short list of people I listen to. When I've had a few things, or David had something, he called you. Like, it's getting, I think, almost increasing. Like, we went from this period where there was the expert class that was kind of lying about everything. Now we have like the new online expert class where every time you open Instagram, everyone's got a new theory on everything, and everyone's pushing something and telling you the secret to this and that. And I'm finding it, in some sense, it seems more difficult now, even though we definitely have better information, or at least we have more information. You got to figure out what's better.
That's the issue. Is you almost have too much information, and it's conflicted information.
Yeah.
So for me, I always go to a variety of MDs and PhDs, depending upon which discipline is more relevant. In nutrition, I speak to PhDs in nutrition science. There are a handful of experts that I defer to. And like, listen, I happen to love Lane Norton. He's a controversial character in my line of work, and he'll give you a pass on things like artificial sweetener. This is, he and I have been back and forth on the research. But Lane, come on, like common sense would dictate no to aspartame.
Right.
But I generally think his advice is good. He looks at human randomized control trials, and then I'll back it up and talk to a group of other people. And if there's consensus and I trust the experts and they're not conflicted, I make my decisions. And generally at the end of the day, if it doesn't pass the gut check, like chemical sweeteners made in a lab, like my common sense on this one is a no. So another one that I sat out completely. I sat out the whole metformin game as a longevity therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Dr. Peter Attia. I think he's brilliant. I've read his book. I've interviewed him 3 times. But Peter is one of those guys like Brian Johnson who will try rapamycin, who'll try metformin. And I'm like, I'm going to sit it out because I don't see why as a healthy person metabolically, I would need this pharmaceutical. Like, I don't really get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I let them go down the path. And then later Peter got off of both. And he's like, diminishing returns. So I kind of like, I'll wait a little bit, like methylene blue. It's a fish tank cleaner, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand.
So I'm not supposed to gargle with it? Is that what you're telling me?
Listen, if you had cancer or a very specific condition metabolically that they were utilizing this for, then I would say, okay, speak to the relevant MD about this. Look at the data. What is it doing? But as a healthy person, I'm like, I am not putting no matter how many experts, it does not pass my sniff test at this time. At the same time, if I had advanced stage 3 breast cancer and they said I needed chemo, I would do chemo. Now, chemo kills everything in the body.
Yeah. But
when you're sick, it's a completely different cost-benefit analysis. So I do go to the PhDs and the MDs. I don't do the influencer thing. And in fact, the only advice that I've ever given people, I can cite the PhD or the MD and then tell you why I listened to that person and how many of them that I utilized to come to a conclusion and form a decision. But there's something to be said for traditional education. Without question, a lot of that research is paid for by the big pharma companies. They'll give you another example. When I injured my back, Andrew Hecht, who ran HSS in New York, he may still, the top orthopedic surgeon at HSS, worked on the world's most incredible athletes. And I was like, well, I'll just put stem cells in my back. And he was like, no, we will not be doing that. He's like, I have never seen one good thing come out of that. Quite the contrary, only for me to then interview Josh Axe. I don't know if this other doctor is out there with regard to what happened to him, but there's a very prominent, well-respected MD out there who made the same mistake and almost died.
Mm-hmm.
And if Hecht
were these stem cells not from their own body? I'm guessing
they were not.
Yeah,
and it's
so
like,
I did adipose from my own fat.
Okay, which can potentially be less effective, right? And then if you're using cord blood and mesenchymal stem cells, but there's greater risks of where you're going, and there's so many different factors. And you inject this stuff into your spine, it can go really wrong. So this is where I had thought I was going to do that and then consulted with one of the best orthopedic surgeons whose specialty is lumbar spine. And I took his advice. I waited it out and tried everything else first.
And what solved it?
So it was a combination of rehab with a PhD named Dr. Stuart McGill, who's incredible. He has a great book for anybody with back problems called The Back Mechanic. And then I also did, oh my God, Jill. See, this is where the gum's not serving me.
Come on, you need a second
Come
piece?
on.
Name dropping left and right. It's in there somewhere. Come on.
I know it. The oh my God, epidural. The epidural anti-inflammatory. And that helped get me standing. Mm-hmm. And then over time, working with McGill, I was able to rehab my spine. And then I learned how to practice really good spine hygiene. So people with back problems, they still bend over all the wrong ways and twist and turn and do it. I die when I see it. I'm like, no.
Right, look, you're sitting nice and upright. I'm always fidgeting. My back's fine, but I'm always sitting in different positions and this. And,
I'm telling you, 80% of people will experience a discogenic issue. And I have never in my life felt pain quite like that. I would reserve only third-degree burns. I would rather get bit by a great white shark. I'd rather be shot. Wow. I think I'd rather be stabbed. And it is relentless pain. And you can very quickly understand why so many people became addicted to OxyContin. And that's who they targeted right off the bat, back pain.
For more insightful conversations on how to live the good life, go to our lifestyle playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a wide variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.